Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anytime you get to watch this. This is your brother Jojo of Demons Media. Please take a moment, click on the subscribe button and the post notification button. So, anytime I drop a video, you will have yours. Now, today I have something very, very little to share. It's something that is in a public domain. Anybody at all can or may have, a lot of people may have stumbled upon. People are murmuring, people are talking about it. I thought I would add my 2 cents and possibly say something that maybe no one has said it, and it might resonate in certain quarters and certain things can get done. US has a new ex-president who's now become a president. Ghana, this whole thing I'm going to say affect the whole of the continent of Africa and beyond. But I will narrow it down to my home country of birth, Ghana. So this is it. President Donald Trump, one of his agendas is to, if possible, remove all undocumented people in the United States of America, which we call them illegal immigrants. If you don't have your green card or if you don't have papers, he'll remove you to your native country. When you come to the United Kingdom, the opposition is proposing certain measures to curb or to control mass economic migration. Now, when it comes to migration itself, it's something that has gone on for hundreds of years, right? So it isn't anything new. But when it comes to economic migration, that is what people are looking. These two countries are really battling. All right. Now, United Kingdom, the opposition party is Conservative Party. Their leader is Kemi something. She's born and raised here, but her parents are from Nigeria. She's proposing that if you enter into the United Kingdom and you overstay, you'll be banned. You can't even apply for citizenship. If you have criminal record, you'll be banned. Irrespective of how you got it, you will be banned. You're not allowed to apply for citizenship. If you are on benefits, there are certain things that you may need to prove, and you have to have been here for clean 5 years or 10 years. Some ridiculous, outrageous measures that she's proposing that if they are to come to power, or I don't even know, because I don't even know whether they are pushing it from wherever they are trying to push it for the government to obviously implement them, because they believe that the present party or the present prime minister has failed when it comes to immigration control. Okay, now they are within their power, they are within their means to do that. Nobody can well and truly. They have changed a lot of things over the years, trying as hard as they can to make people attaining their citizenships as tedious, as literally almost impossible as possible. Now, what am I talking about? These are two major countries. When we look at these migration, especially from Africa, it's more like economic migration. We are not just migrating here just for the fun of it. We are not just coming over here for holidays. We come over here to try and get jobs to do, to be able to better our lives and our families back home. But they don't want it that way. They don't want it that way. Now, let's talk about United Kingdom. Once upon a time, there was something called Windrush, where they went to the Caribbean to bring a lot of people to come and build their country. After they have done that and realized that we don't need them anymore, they started repatriating them. Recently, what did they do? They opened up the gap to say, come and help us take care of our elderly. Now it got to a point, they said, we got the quota that we needed. So they shut that door. And now these are the things that they are saying. It's more or less like saying that we don't need you here any longer. Or those ones that are here, we don't even need you. If you can, we can remove you. So you who is looking forward to come, and if don't come. Because if you enter, we're going to make it difficult for you to attain your citizenship. This is what I mean by it's a blessing. Let's say in Ghana, this is time for our leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders to come together and begin to jojo, as they call it, begin to share ideas as to how do we make things a little bit okay for the average person not to even think about economically migrating to the other side. What do we do? The entire Africa should start having this kind of conversation. Now, there is one thing that someone said, that the economies in Africa are the strongest economy. This is why, right? If we look at one country and if the corruption that we talk about is real, if it is not just perception, but it's real, if we look at the amount of money that leaves our shores into the Western world, if those monies are to stop, or let me put it this way, the amount of money that leaves, let's say Nigeria via corruption, let's say Ghana via corruption, into the Western world and into the Western economy, if the same was leaving the Western economy into Africa, the Western world would have collapsed. If you look at it, even if they would steal money from the Western world and bring it to Africa, they come into Africa to invest. Now, this is another thing that I've realized. Our politicians and our people will embezzle money and bring it into the Western world. The Western world will take it for safekeeping for them. Is it really safekeeping for them? And then we will come over here to come and borrow money. The country that you embezzled money and you sent it to, right? You go to that country to borrow money. So basically, the money that you brought here, they have invested it. The interest that they have accrued on your own money, they give that money, the interest to you as a loan. Your principal money is still here. They give the interest that they have made on your money back to you as a loan. Then you pay for it. That is well and truly what is happening. Somebody will say, what do you mean? Let's say you come to the UK to come and buy a house. You rent that house out. All right. The money that you get stays here. It's very hard for you to take it back. So you end up using that money that you have made to buy another house. It's still here. You investing that money here. You are investing that money here. What would have happened if you had invested that money back home? You have embezzled money from government. You have taken it out of some money that is meant for road infrastructure, hospitals, schools, name them. You've embezzled it. So you're supposed to do 10, you do 2, or you do 3, you do 4, and you keep the rest of the money. If you reinvest the money back into the economy, are we not going to benefit? Yeah, somebody's going to say, but you get caught. Why do you steal it in the first place? If you have stolen it in the first place, I would like to believe that you have had a reason for stealing it, or you have had a reason if it becomes necessary for you to explain. Plus, if you invest your money in the country, you would make sure the country doesn't burn. You would make sure the country works because you have your investments in there. These are the things that we are supposed to consider. I believe that if people have jobs to do, then they'll be thinking about the migration of holiday migration, not economic migration. So now we are being thrown away from United States of America. We are not going to get the chance to come into the UK. Even if we get the chance to come into the UK, it's going to be very, very hard for you to stay. They are really are going to scrutinize and pinch things down. It's about time our leaders begins to think about us a little bit, begins to look into things like, how do we make the next generation a little bit comfortable that they would not think about? Anytime I go to Ghana and I get into Uber and I engage them, 9 out of 10 young people wants to get out of the country. It doesn't matter the gloomy picture that you paint for them as in it's not that easy out there. They'll tell you that it's way better than here. I wish that it would be it would be a normal thing. I wish it would be a normal thing that you meet a young person and you ask them and they tell you, I don't want to travel. I want to stay out here. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. Because sometimes it breaks my heart when I hear people say that I sold my properties to get here. Bro, says you regret. You will regret. It's not as easy and sometimes I don't blame people back home. I blame us, we the diaspora, because we come and we go and we make it look like we just come over here and gather the money and then that is it. Whereas it is not like that. It's really not like that. What am I talking about? Before I digress, what I'm talking about is these things that are happening and these two countries are doing it. I do have a feeling other countries are going to follow suit with different ways of them doing this. The people that are even coming back home, how are they coming? Are they going to be able to integrate into the system? Have they got anything at all to even do to keep them going, for them not to even think about relocating to somewhere else? Is it our leaders that are not helping, or is it the citizens that are not helping? These are many questions that have been running through my head that I don't even know how I will answer them. But what I'm talking about here is this. It's about time our leaders sat down and begin to look into things and begin to come up with things. We can do it. We have the resources and everything. put it into the right channel and the right use so that masses can benefit. I know farming is lucrative, but how do we brand farming to get people involved rather than galamsey? I don't know. I really don't want to get into these topics, but I don't want to do politics and stuff like that here. No, what I'm saying is this: it's about time our leaders sat down, begin to think, begin to jojo. How best do we make things a little easier for these generation, a little bit comfortable for them, so that the mass economic migration would reduce. It's embarrassing to have such a bunch of people coming because we have gone somewhere. They went somewhere trying to make their lives a little bit comfortable for themselves and for themselves. And I get it. Remittances alone forms a huge part of our GDP. Remittances forms a chunk of our GDP. But a normal trend, that is not how it's supposed to be. If our leaders will stop embezzling money, sending them abroad for their economies to grow, for their economies to boom, and reinvest the stolen money back into our own economy, perhaps the youth might get something to do, and it might not be necessary for them to move out. This is embarrassing. But I need the day, as I keep on saying, what do I know? But still, it is my take.